So a few days ago, it came out that John Wall wanted out of Washington. So, what is his market really like in the current state of the NBA? John Wall hasn't really played in 2 years, hasn't been elite in like 3 years, and he has maybe the worst contract in the league. He's making north of $40 million for 3 plus years. I don't know who's going to take that contract, who wants that contract, what they're going to trade for him, or if the Wizards even want to trade him. John Wall, we know he can be really good. If he can get back to those years where he was leading the Wizards to the 4 seed and maybe top 3 point guard in the league, then you can make that trade and justify it. But there is no guarantee. He's only getting older, making tons of money, and he's had some very bad lower body injuries that you don't know if he can recover from. So the fact that John Wall came out and said that he requests a trade, I don't know if he thinks that there's going to be a lot of suitors for him. I don't know if he cares, and I don't know where this really came from. I'd seen interviews about John Wall saying that he's back at 110% and that he's ready to play with Bradley Beal and he's going to let him run the offense. And then all of a sudden, he just kind of requests a trade. It seems really random. You'd wonder if the Wizards would have to be a team to throw in something. Like, instead of getting assets for John Wall, they may have to give assets, like a pick or a young player with Wall, to get off that contract. Like, you don't think the Wizards would throw in Rui to get off Wall, or Thomas Bryant, or future firsts. You'd assume they would just keep him, and that's the only way I see them getting rid of John Wall. If John Wall will play for you and won't sit out, then I don't see why you wouldn't just try to run it back with Wall and Beal, because last time those two were fully healthy, the team was good. And you have a lot of question marks on that team, like Rui and Denny, that could come out and be really good right away. Just because you're not a contender doesn't mean you have to trade all of your good players. We've seen teams shock the world before and overperform, and maybe that's the Wizards. Maybe you get a healthy Wall, Beal is still good, Denny comes in is amazing, Rui takes a big jump, and all of a sudden, the Wizards are a top team in the East. Will that happen? I highly doubt it. But you don't just trade away your good players just because, well, we doubt we can be good, so let's not take the chance, especially when you would have to give assets for John Wall. As for what teams would trade for John Wall, I mean, when I think of teams that need point guards, I always think of the Magic, but I don't know what the Magic would give up unless the Wizards will throw in something extra. If the Magic, would they give Aaron Gordon for John Wall? I doubt it. Maybe the Magic would just take John Wall and a pick from Washington and roll with that, maybe. And then that team would maybe look a little better if Wall can get back to his old self. Maybe the Clippers, they've been wanting a point guard. It's been rumored that they might trade for Russell Westbrook. Maybe John Wall's that guy. But then again, don't know what you would trade. Doubt you want to throw in any picks. So unless the Wizards are willing to give something extra, I don't see that happening. Russell Westbrook's also been rumored to go to the Knicks, so maybe John Wall wants to go to the Knicks. Are the Knicks going to trade for John Wall? I can't see why they would do that, but you really never know, especially with the Knicks. The Knicks have had a surprisingly competent offseason as to not overpaying a bunch of people. I mean, maybe it's bad that they lost Fred VanVleet, but I think you can live without Freddie. So, yeah. What does this mean for Wall? I think it means he's stuck. And, hopefully he can fix the relationship there, because I do want to see the Wizards team at its full potential with Wall and Beal. I think they could be really good, but you're going to need Wall to buy in to this Wizards team. And with that contract, I just don't see any teams or any way that Wall can get out of Washington without the Wizards having to throw in extra pieces, which I doubt you'd throw in an extra piece plus your second best player to just get rid of your second best player. If Wall does get traded, does that mean Beal's out? I kind of doubt it. The Wizards have said so many times that they don't want to trade Bradley Beal, but maybe that's because they wanted to see the fit of Wall, and if Wall wants out, maybe that's the cue for Beal to leave. And Beal has a ton more value and a much bigger market than Wall really will ever have. So if the Wizards want to go in a full rebuild, then I could see this trade happening. But if they're just going to keep Beal then there's no way to trade John Wall, and there's really no reason to trade John Wall. I get he wants out, but at the end of the day, the Wizards are in control of him, and John Wall has little to no say about where he goes. So as for what I think is going to happen, I would bet money that John Wall and Beal will both be on the team come the start of this year, and probably for the next however many years. Don't see any way they trade him, and if they do trade him, the Wizards would have to give something to a team like the Magic. So yeah, if Wall can have like a Chris Paul type season where his value was like negative, and then he balls out, and now there's a bunch of teams for him, then hey, yeah, the Wizards could trade him in a year or two, but he would have to really impress some teams to be able to take that contract with his age and with his injuries. So I don't see it.